Spoilers ahead, and welcome back to Venture Recaps. Today, we'll recap a 2013 American adventure fantasy film titled Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. At the start of the movie, we see 4 demigod children heading to the Camp Blood, the only place safe for the demigods, and the 3 of them made it because sadly, Thalia sacrificed herself. Fortunately, her father Zeus found another way for her to live, a tree that creates a barrier to protect the camp. The scene then jumps to the present time, where at camp, Percy Jackson and other demigods are in the middle of a tournament. After a fierce competition, a girl by the name of Clarice wins. She is the daughter of the god of war, Ares. She makes fun of Percy, but Grover and Annabeth try to cheer him up, but Percy is having some serious self-doubts, wondering if he is good enough. The next day, Mr. D and Chiron find an individual who was able to pass Thalia's barrier. They believe in that case he must be a demigod, and that person maybe is the son of Poseidon. Chiron immediately calls Percy to inform him that he has a brother he is introduced to him. His name is Tyson. Chiron also tells Percy that Tyson is a different creature, a half-god, half-cyclops, and not half-human. At camp, everyone seems to look at Tyson weirdly, even Clarice makes fun of him. Later that day, a loud noise is heard, and all students check it out and realize something is trying to enter. A monster then breaks the barrier and starts attacking the whole camp. Percy and Annabeth try to stop him, but the monster is too strong. After that, it then charges Clarice, but Tyson is able to save her by holding it, while Percy finishes it in pieces. At this moment, Luke the son of Hermes comes, and Percy is shocked as he thought he got rid of him in the first part of the movie. Luke then tells him that a prophecy including Percy Jackson exists, and he disappears. After that, everyone goes to check Thalia's tree, and Chiron finds out the tree has been poisoned. Percy tells everyone it was Luke who let the bull in, and Annabeth immediately tries to search for a cure for Thalia, who is dying. Percy goes to meet Chiron, asking him about the prophecy Luke was talking about. Chiron then sends Percy to the attic of the secret house, where he meets the Lady Prophecy and asks her about the prophecy that includes him. Lady Prophecy starts by telling him that a long time ago, before the gods, there were titans ruled by Kronos. 3 of his sons escaped: Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. They destroyed Kronos, but the prophecy states that he will rise again, and only one of the children of Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon can defeat him or destroy Olympus. Percy immediately tells it all to Chiron, but Percy doubted himself that he's the person mentioned in the prophecy. Meanwhile, Annabeth brings her discovery to Mr. D that only the Golden Fleece can save Thalia and restore the barrier. With that, Annabeth proposed going on an expedition to find it. Mr. D then announces it to all students, pretending it was his own idea, and he put together a team to go retrieve the Golden Fleece, including Clarice. Percy isn't chosen and dwells more on thinking he may not be the one, but this won't stop him. So Percy, Annabeth, and Grover go on their own expedition to get the Golden Fleece. While on their way, they find out Tyson has followed them, and because of his clumsiness, they try to stop him from coming with them. Tyson then informs them that the Golden Fleece may be guarded by a Cyclops, and only he can talk to fellow Cyclops. So, against their will, they bring Tyson, and Annabeth gives him a potion that makes him look less noticeable. She then calls a flying taxi, but this ends up being a bumpy ride. They want to go to Florida, but then the ladies realize they don't have enough jackmoose, so they drop them in the middle of Washington. At this moment, Luke's friend Chris appears and captures Grover. The trio then goes to meet where Luke's father may be, and end up finding Hermes himself, the owner of the post office for the magic world. Hermes reveals that he tried to reach out to his son Luke, but he is barely responding. Fortunately, he asks his 2 snakes to Google Luke, and they do, and they inform the rest that Luke is on a yacht called Andromeda. Hermes then gives them some tools, and they leave minutes later. Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson find the yacht, but they wonder how they will reach it. Luckily, Tyson calls the seahorse, and it carries them to the yacht. The trio steps inside with discretion, but a creature notices them, and everyone is alerted. Chris then brings them to Luke, and Luke tells them he has already sent Grover to the Sea of Monsters. He then reveals that the Golden Fleece is also required to resurrect Kronos. However, Percy reminds him that resurrecting Kronos will destroy the world, and Annabeth is ashamed of Luke because Talia sacrificed for him years ago as he was one of the first 4 children. But Luke doesn't seem to care and puts the trio in a cell. Hours later, Luke gets the idea to grab one of the tools given by Hermes, the mythical tape gun that can make anything disappear. He then uses this to make their defenses vanish and escape. But unfortunately, Chris catches up to them and starts fighting Percy. Luke gets alerted, and everyone tries to stop them. Luke tries again to recruit Percy into his team, but he refuses. Suddenly, a wave of water arrives to join his friends, but unfortunately, clumsy Tyson destroys the small boat engine, so Annabeth uses the other tool given to her by Hermes, the proportion magic spray. While on the boat, Tyson then shares his story of always being seen as a monster by people. Percy tries to cheer his brother up, but Annabeth is still hesitant about trusting Tyson. She then reveals to Percy that she was one of the 4 first kids, and it was a Cyclops that killed Talia. At this moment, the group notices dark clouds, and Annabeth reveals that this must be the Sea of Monsters. They immediately get attacked by an enormous creature, and they end up in its stomach. Once there, they hear noises and realize Clarice is also stuck there with her staff full of zombies. She points out they are on their way to the intestine, which will finish them off. As a result, the wild team collaborated and successfully freed the creature, which ended up in the water but came out on the surface just in time. At this point, Percy starts to see patterns in the water that can be used as coordinates. He then tells Clarice right away where the Golden Fleece is. Hours later, the crew arrives at a mysterious island and an abandoned theme park. They go through the park and keep exploring the underground. They then notice Grover arguing with a gigantic Cyclops. Grover has a fake eye on him, making the giant Cyclops believe that he is also a Cyclops. Luckily, the giant Cyclops has a foggy vision. Percy immediately calls Grover over, and the team is reunited. Grover then informs them that the Golden Fleece is on the Cyclops. After that, Percy and Clarice tried to get it, but the Cyclops noticed it. Tyson then steps in, doing what he promised, talking to a fellow Cyclops to calm him down. Percy then grabs the Golden Fleece, and the whole team is able to escape while locking the giant Cyclops inside. Suddenly, Luke and his men appear, and they want the Golden Fleece. Luke then shoots at Percy, but Tyson sacrifices for him by taking the hit. Luke then takes the Golden Fleece and captures the team. That same night, Luke is getting ready to revive Kronos. He then puts the Golden Fleece on Kronos' remaining parts, and energy starts coming out. At this moment, Percy frees himself and his friend and goes to attack Luke, trying to stop the resurrection of Kronos. Luke gets the upper hand, but fortunately, Tyson appears out of nowhere and helps Percy. He then reveals that because he is Poseidon's son as well, the water healed his wound. Percy hugs him, being so happy that he is okay, and calls him brother. At this moment, the remaining portions of Kronos explode, and Kronos is being formed. Seconds later, Kronos is back, and Luke talks to him, saying he brought him back, but Kronos doesn't care and eats him. Then Percy attacks Kronos, and that's when he realizes that his powers also affect the box where the rest of Kronos was. So Percy steps on Kronos and goes through him with his blade. This finishes Kronos, and Luke is free, but he falls in front of the giant Cyclops. Kronos is then put back in the box, and Tyson removes the Golden Fleece. Percy thanks his dad for helping him activate this immense power. As everyone celebrates, Annabeth thanks Tyson and finally accepts him. The next day, Percy decides that it's better if Clarice will be the one who will go back with the Golden Fleece. After that, she puts the Golden Fleece on Talia's tree, which comes back, and the barrier is reactivated. The whole camp is very happy, and everyone celebrates Clarice as the hero while she looks at Percy. In the last scene of the movie, we can see Annabeth calling out the whole camp, saying that the Golden Fleece was more powerful than they thought. They check the tree and Talia comes back to life in her human form. Talia is so confused, and Percy realizes that there is a second child from the great gods, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, that will save or destroy Olympus. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this.